Hello, hello. Hope all is well, and welcome to another show of No Strings Attached. My name is Roger McAllis, and I am your host. If this is your first time here, welcome to the show. And if you have been here before, welcome back. Today, we are going to talk about loyalty programs that companies offer to their clients. But before that, I want to remind you about our sponsor, blindsonline.com. They offer very affordable window covering solutions at a very great price. They offer to consumers, direct consumers, but soon they are going to implement a to the trade possibility, which is going to help my dealers, colleagues, designers, contractors to offer products at a very affordable prices to their clients. So check them out. Blindsonlines.com are a sponsor. So today's episode, I am going to share some experience with loyalty programs. So this goes back when I first started flying. So at that time, money was tight, and all I wanted was going from point A to point B. So no matter who was the carrier, the best price, the cheapest price, always got my preference. However, when I moved to Boston and I started going to Brazil to see family, Delta was the only company at that time that had a direct flight from from Boston to Sao Paulo. So basically, it became my preferred carrier. Just kind of almost by accident or naturally, whoever you want to call. So I had an option either fly directly or perhaps even fly cheaper with an alternative, but then I have to have a connecting flight. It would add 3 to 4 hours to my final trip. So it became convenient. And because it was something that I was doing regularly every year, I was going to Brazil to see my parents and my sister. I decided to add a Delta credit card, thinking I am going to add the mileage add points from my purchases, which will translate in either cheaper tickets or I can utilize the points somehow. And that's what I did. So start using the card, adding hacking points, traveling Delta. I almost, and naturally I became a loyal client, a loyal consumer. But I didn't think much about it. It was just, convenient for me. And, the thing was working out. So one day I am flying to Brazil. This is late December, Christmas closing in, and they didn't have the flight. This is post pandemic, so there's no more directly flight from Boston to Sao Paulo. So I had to have a connecting flight, and I just landed in Atlanta. So the soon I touched ground and I turned my phone on, I got a notification that my connecting flight to Sao Paulo was canceled due to a massive snowstorm coming across the US. It wasn't just my flight, it was pretty much the entire US shut down because all these massive snowstorm all the way across states. So nothing I could do. I was just, what the heck, And then I headed to the counter like everybody else, expecting a very big fight and pushback and sleeping at the airport, all the good stuff that we see uh, on the movies or you hear from friends. So a lot of people, waiting in line like everybody else, people they already talked to the people at the counter just coming back, lamenting, say, well, they just said there's nothing they can do. Just gonna be here until, things cleared out. Everybody complaining. And I was kind of, what the heck? So when my time came and I started talking to someone at the counter, she said, no, I'm gonna put you in a hotel. And I was like, why am I getting a hotel and all of these people are not? So they booked me a hotel. And now listen to this part, which is incredible. They said, because everything that happened, we're not going to have a flight to Sao Paulo for another 3 days. And I said, no way, I want to stay. I want to make sure you guys figure this out. And after a little bit, she came back and said, we are going to put you on an American Airlines flight. And I was, what? She said, well, we just want to make sure, Mr. Magalis, you are going to get to your destination as quick as possible. And we apologize for the inconvenience. And by the way, thanks for being a medallion member. And for the ones that don't know the lingo, medallion member is just a fancy name for loyal customer. And that's what I was. So I was kind of shocked that I was treated differently from the people on the line. And when I step out of the counter, I went back and I asked a couple people and I say, where did you get your tickets? And they said, well, I got online, I got through agents or, or all of those, Expedia, whatever site there was. And then that thing sink in my mind. I say, oh, they didn't buy directly from Delta. They are not Delta loyal clients. And that's when I start noticing that there was a difference between just price and being loyal to a company. After that, I start noticing different things as well. More often than not, they upgrade my tickets. And to be honest, I already lost count how many times they upgraded me to first class. Just because I fly frequent and I use my cards all the time, so I hack all these points. And obviously, it's not just because they're nice. They really are trying to spoiling me to a point that when I go to buy my tickets, I would choose first class first. There's a marketing behind, there's a psychology behind. It's not just because they're nice. But in either event, it's still nice to get those upgrades, to get those perks. So I went to Brazil recently. And when I got to my seat, I got preferred entrance in the airplane. So usually I'm in the zone 2. So I got first. I got time. I choose where I put my bags just because I'm one of the first in. All those little things that just adds up, make you feel special. It feels good. And then I found a note from the pilot. Now, to be honest, I don't really know if it was truly the pilot that wrote it, but at least they give you the expectation that the pilot wrote that note to me directly. So again, I'm not sure if it is true or not, but that's the impression that they want you to perceive. So, Mr. Magalis, it's been a pleasure to have you on board. Yada, yada, yada. Obviously, it's all fluff marketing. but nonetheless, it make you feel special. And then the cherry on top of it was when we landed in Boston for Thanksgiving, me and Anna, from Tampa all the way to Boston. We got our luggage and we'll pull out of the carousel. And then there is those envelopes just hanging from the luggage and with a little bow, kind of nice. So we look at it and there was a gift card. Each luggage, each suitcase had a envelope with a gift card from Delta just to thank us for being medallion members. So all of these things just adds up to the whole experience of being a loyal client, a loyal customer. Is Delta the cheapest alternative? Hell no, absolutely not. I know for a fact that if I go online or even if I go to the competitors, I can get cheaper. But I don't care much unless it's truly necessary. I rather pay a little bit more, fly Delta, feel special, and that's how they got my loyalty. My loyalty. So what I want you to understand and what I want to drill into your brain is this. Since we are closing 2025 and heading over to 2026, I personally try to go through a mental exercise to see what has worked for me in 2025 and what I wanted to do in 2026 differently to, gain an edge and be different and get more clients. So as we go through these at this time, I want to leave you with a question. Do you want to be the cheapest airline option in your window treatment market, or do you want to be the Delta experience of your market? Now, before you answer it, there is no right or wrong. Honestly, not. It depends on the market that you caring for. However, if you want to be the cheapest guy in town, it's totally fine. But remember that you're not going to have loyal clients. You're not going to be respected as much for your expertise. A lot of times, if someone cuts you off by $50, cuts you under by $50, your client gonna go with a competitor. On the other hand, if you decide to be a Delta experience professional, you are going to charge more. You are going to make better margins. Perhaps you're not going to need to work as much or as long hours because you are already building the extra profit into your margins. Now, how can you be a Delta experience for your clients? Perhaps you can offer preferred scheduling for the loyal clients you already have. Give them preference when you book their appointments. Maybe you can offer them a free service call for small adjustments to the blinds. Perhaps you offer them a battery replacement at a reduced price at free of charge for the first time. Send them handwritten notes, thank you notes, thanking for their business. So there are few things that you can do that the cheaper version, your competitor, is not going to. So I'll leave you with a question. Do you want to be the cheapest option, or do you want to be the Delta experience of your market? I hope you enjoy this episode. You have a link down in the description to the newsletter that I just created about the same topic. I even have pictures there showing the pilot note and the gift cards hanging off my suitcases. Wishing you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Leave me any comments down below, questions, suggestions. I read them all, and I'll see you next year. Take care.
That's a wrap for this episode of No Strings Attached, untangling conversations about shady topics. If you enjoyed today's discussion, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with fellow industry pros and window treatment enthusiasts. For more expert insights, follow Roger on social media and visit Shades in Place at www.shadesinplace.com. Thanks for listening. Until next time, keep your shades stylish and your conversations shady.